Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savirutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Param Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitangscha Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratvijay Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Govinda Govinda. Yes, Hari Gopal Prabhu, welcome. No writing on your t-shirt. Very rare t-shirt. All right. Oh my goodness, lots of devotees have joined already. We're very happy for that. And I think that maybe they're set up in the temple room and expecting that I'll go through there. Is that so, Kelly? I see your face. Set up? Not set up. Not set up. You see, because they've been very good, they chanted all the evening program means, including the Guru song, and in front of the Guru Parampara, then Tulsi song. But I came through to set up, so they're taking a little longer to get ready.
I think we're okay, Maharaj. It's just that they're doing different services in the building, but they'll come a little bit later.
Okay, so I'm still not sure whether that means I should be here or there, but it's all good.
Yeah. Whatever is good for you, Maharaj.
Everywhere is good for me.
We're here.
All right. Anyway, so just as we're beginning, I'm looking for Govinda Chandra Prabhu, but perhaps not with us this week. Participants. Okay, because he did have a question from last week, which we did do a little homework for. But let us wait. He may join us further on. But first of all, the advertising for this week has been with the theme of the purity of mood. Is that correct? Somebody can give me the exact wording? Udaran Prabhu, what is the exact wording?
Yeah, that's correct. The purity of mood, of our mood.
The purity of our mood. Well, the purity of our mood may be questionable. The purity of Srila Gurudev and Srila Guru Maharaj's mood is unquestionable. But today, a little thought, because as you can see, we traveled to London today. But coming to London, I was reminded about the first time I came to London with any idea about Krishna consciousness, which was only from Srila Prabhupada's books, or one book, The Science of Self-Realization. But that was really, it was my only understanding of anything about the Krishna conscious people. But I came to London, but just for a short time between contracts of working. I came to London, but with the specific intention to meet with the devotees and to meet with Srila Prabhupada. because the message of that book, The Science of Self-Realization, which is a compilation of talks, introductory talks, and interviews with the public, interviews with Christian priests, many things were included within that book. And for me at that time, it really was a big eye-opener that there really are those who know the purpose of life and how to achieve it. And I know we're always reminding ourselves of these points, but why are we attracted? There is something in our good fortune, and that's not something that we're proud, this, proud or that, but we have to admit there is something in our good fortune that has attracted us to the mood and the teaching of Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, and Srila Gurudev. And what originally attracted us, we must try to also keep that ideal, because it was not wrong. The idea that we will come and we will give our life for this purpose, for this higher ideal, that was certainly woken up from the reading of the books, and we can say also by putting into practice what Srila Prabhupada said, which in the beginning was to be vegetarian and to chant Hare Krishna. Those, you can say, were the two things that personally, myself, were key, like changes. And then just having that one book as a companion. And this is during travels in Africa, and we didn't have any other kind of companion as far as spiritual thought goes. And so that initial mood, purity of our mood, we can say it was good, but we must maintain that purity. We must maintain that ideal. When we knew absolutely nothing, but there are those who do know, then it's very easy to come and Krishna consciousness, about chanting on the beads, about chanting at all, about devotional life, about what do devotees do, what does this word devotee mean. And so when we come, we're very fresh with an empty container, and we want to put these devotional treasures within that container. But we must keep up that enthusiasm and that vitality as we go through our devotional life. And our purity of mood must be present throughout our everyday life. And we shouldn't start getting into any mundane conceptions about devotional life, getting into any unfortunate circumstances of having to be around unhappy devotees who are unhappy with everybody else in the world. Rather, we've been very fortunate to come to Gurudev, to come to Guru Maharaj in person in each case. And they've helped every devotee who cares to listen to them to stay on the safe path of appreciating, as we did in the very beginning, appreciating all the devotees and not seeing anything in anybody's character except their devotional side, and just accepting everything else. And we will try to avoid being caught up in any unfortunate circumstances of criticism or anything like that. This devotional life, we are warned at the very outset, the most dangerous impediment for us, which would cause much difficulty and may even ruin our devotional life, is criticism, fault-finding, especially of the devotees. So we are very fortunate that we can see through Srila Gurudev's eye about different devotees and see their devotional nature, and we keep that happily on our head. And others may do whatever they're going to do, but we will not allow ourselves to enter into any activity, any thought also, which will impede that purity of the mood that we came with for surrendering, for coming to hear, be with the devotees, giving up this and giving up that, and in replacing it with the beautiful devotional practices. We must remember why we came and what we gave up, you can say. But in one sense, we didn't give anything up, because we know, as the time goes by, there is nothing but devotional service. But still, our families and friends may observe we did give up, our jobs and our social status. I mean, not social status, but, our decent life that we may have had in order to be a little bit, you can say, rejected by our friends and families, etc. But knowing it was for a higher cause, and knowing that actually the best benefit, especially for family, I mean, for friends, that is just temporary, but for family, the best thing for us to do is to be a good devotee. So knowing the purpose for which we have changed the course of our life, to give Krishna consciousness the priority over basically everything else, then knowing that change of course, then we should keep reminding ourselves that it's not just we come into some habit, come into a good club where we get exercise and good food or something. But we've come to the great fortune of human life, which is we've come in connection with those who can take us to the land of joy and ecstasy. And practically everywhere we are hearing this conclusion from Gurudev and from Srila Guru Maharaj. And on the plane coming over, by the way, I was listening to, as we do, I was listening to Devashish Prabhu giving a class recently, maybe not the Japa workshop, but maybe 2 days or 3 days before that, he gave the morning class here. And there I thought again too, this one class should be enough to make us alert to not waste our time on anything but the pure, sweet, happy, joyful, eternal life of chanting the Lord's names and keeping our focus on the gift of Mahaprabhu, which will give the outcome of residence within Goloka Vrindavan by the grace of those residents. So purity of purpose is really something that we are getting nourished to maintain every day if we follow the guidelines that Gurudev, Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada have given. And remember, Srila Prabhupada, he wanted the devotees to see what the guidance for a daily devotional life is, to learn that from Srila Guru Maharaj. And hence he sent his leading devotees to Guru Maharaj. And that's how it is, that in the temples of Srila Prabhupada, many of the things that they do, the songs that they sing, for instance, etc., and the tunes that they sing, this was following what the older devotees at that time, who weren't very old, but they were older devotees within Srila Prabhupada's mission. This is what they learnt, coming to Srila Guru Maharaj, and Srila Guru Maharaj giving them guidance. Hare Krishna. Well, Kum Devi Rasi, she was very, not nervous, but she's saying, will you be in the Zoom tonight? I've been doing homework, etc. And I think I disappointed her by saying, yes, I'll be in the Zoom. I think I disappointed her because she's got some things to share which she'd already discovered and been researching. And so I'll happily pass the microphone over to the next door room to the London ashram here. And that next door room is Vilagovinda ashram and the temple room there.
My Dandavat Maharaj to you and to all of the devotees online and those who will be hearing the recordings. And of course, I'm sure everyone knows this is not true at all, but there's no one that we would rather hear from than yourself. We get our understanding of Krishna consciousness by serving the Guru, and how much we have served and how purely we have served, how much sacrifice. And so definitely we are very pleased to have the example of yourself, someone who has been doing that for 40 years, and everybody benefits with that. Now, we appreciate that Udaran Prabhu, Seva Didi, they pick out a particular theme just to get us going. There are so many aspects of Krishna consciousness in our Guru's books we can't even fathom. We can't begin to calculate or grasp, but it's very sweet when we hear a theme. It's don't we want to consider this? And this is one of the great messages that come from our gurus, the purity of our mood. And I noticed a couple of points that I can bring out as we look forward to Maharaj and others speaking in more detail on this. But there is a chapter in Revealed Truth called Transcendental Service World, which goes into the purity of our mood. And I'll just read from that. It can be translated. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu's advice to be detached from the mundane is very important for us. We must always try to honor the transcendental form of everything, of the deity, the devotees, the Lord's prasadam, and so on. In a detached mood, we may lead any lifestyle. We may have a family life, a student life, a master's life, any sort of life, but we must not be too attached to that. Even if we are a family man, we will have no difficulty with our family maintenance if we think that our family is a spiritual family. If we think in that way, no difficulty will come to us. Even if we lose everything materially, still there is no real loss for us, because we can always engage ourselves in Krishna's service, no matter what our material condition is, through proper consciousness. We will think that our children are spiritual children and our flowers are spiritual flowers. Everything that we see, we will consider to be Krishna's mercy coming to us. Srila Guru Maharaj taught us in this way. We will change our vision and we will serve. Then anything we do will be Krishna's service, so long as we do not forget that it is for his satisfaction and not our selfish enjoyment. If we proceed in that way, then all benefit and no loss will come to us. And this is such a perfect explanation of how it's not a purity that we strive for, is not an outward appearance that we're trying to establish. It's about what is going on in our heart, and particularly seeing that everything is for Krishna's satisfaction. When we're so fortunate and we get to be around devotees and we walk around the ashram and there are flowers, and you can just hear the devotees' thoughts as they say, oh, this will be a good one for the garland. This one is so nice to put in a vase. So we get to be surrounded by devotees who are thinking like this. Whatever is nice, this is for Krishna's satisfaction.
I'm trying to indicate to them to speak, but they're so humble.
It's very hard to follow after you speak, Kumkum Didi, because you share so many wonderful things that I'm completely absorbed in that and find it hard to think of what I could possibly add, even though, as you said, it's endless, the topics that our masters have shared with us. But I was thinking that on this topic, like, what does it mean, a purity of mood? Our guru is always telling us that we need to, our practicing life means we need to adjust ourselves. And how do we do that? And all of the instructions that they're giving us, so many beautiful guidances all the time to help us to adjust ourselves, whether it's the environment is friendly, look at your own, find your own faults first, don't criticize others, how to come in front of the deity, how to be, how to consider that the deity is seeing us rather than we're seeing the deity, how to interact with the devotees, the six loving exchanges, all of our wonderful processes of our practicing life are all the ways in which we are so mercifully been given to help us to I can't even say refine our purity for myself, means to attempt to approach something that's a reasonable state of practicing life. But through those practices, we can refine more and more the purity of our mood of approach. And it's a beautiful topic, because it's our whole devotional life. And so I was just thinking, yeah, there's many gems that we've been given that we trying to take into our hearts every day to refine our mood. Well, I'm also so happy to hear you speak. I'm also so happy to hear you speak, Kumkum Didi and Kelikadamanana Didi. Actually, what came to mind is that I would love to ask you more about the topic of detachment. Because recently I've been thinking during Devashish Prabhu's Japa workshop, he mentioned this word in relation to making an attempt and not being too, we're trying our utmost, but whatever the result may be, or whatever our experience of the result may be, is not for us. And he used the word detachment in that context. But then also we hear your glories, Kumkum Didi. We heard that really even in the time of your grihasta life, you have been described as very detached. And I see it now, really, what you have done with your life. It's absolutely like amazing. Really, you have given up your house, your country, your stability in service of Guru and Gauranga. And that comes from a deep fire of detachment, I feel, from external things. And then I've been thinking about how, there's detachment of possessions, there's detachment of relationships, there's detachment of results. Please, can you shed just share some thoughts on this principle of detachment? We'd be so happy to hear from you.
Well, your words are astounding. I can't understand at all why that makes you think of me, but The only thing I understand about detachment is that it's really a form of attachment when our gurus somehow or other give us so much mercy and their grace just descends, and we have to be attached to what they're giving us because they've made it so extremely attractive and tasteful. And so there's only one consideration when we receive that extreme affection from all of the devotees and affectionate dealings with explaining things to us, taking us as much as we are able out of darkness and confusion and illusion, and putting us, revealing things to us, and that seem completely obvious once they do. So how were we with suffering so much before, in darkness, in more darkness, and knowing that whatever we do, according to their explanations of this process that we're in, it's just going to get better and better. So how is it even detachment? Like, who would want to go and eat some inferior cooking when they know the greatest cooks who are completely clean, who are meditating on the Supreme Lord, are inviting them to take? So it doesn't seem like detachment at all, but attachment to something that's coming to us. Wouldn't even recognize how much higher it is, but it puts itself right there in front of us, and nothing sweeter.
How is the audio? Good?
Good. That was very good. How was the audio? Okay. It's amazing. It's such a beautiful reflection on things. You help us understand the lives of the saints, Didi, really, what actually is internal attachment can externally appear as detachment, but really it is deep affinity and attachment. Really, it's such a beautiful answer. So grateful.
It's true. And, one thing I've never been at all good about is recalling from our guru's songs or anywhere in scripture specific references. And we know others who are very good at this. I'm always thinking of Srila Didi, of course, when it comes to that. And so that's a great wealth that we have. And that's something I'd like to improve in myself if I could, is and I encourage anybody else who wants to do that, is to start pocketing all of the drops of nectar so they can bring them out at any time. Not in the sense that Srila Guru Maharaj says we don't like take knowledge and put it in our pocket and just like it's something to glorify us and make us look good. Because then when we get to the destination, we'll reach in our pocket to take it out and show our vast knowledge or something, and there'll be nothing in that pocket. But to proceed in those great gifts that our gurus are always giving us, and especially Srila Madhusudan Maharaj, she's right there with you, and we all know that these things are at our just within our grasp if we want them. So that's something we can meditate on a lot. And that boosts our ability to understand the superiority of the spiritual pursuits over what all these other crazy pursuits that we tend to fly toward otherwise. But on this particular topic, like you were just speaking, I know that I wish I could think of something in particular, a kirtan where this point is brought up.
Just a mind that I personally treasure a lot is thing which we sang it recently, but I forget I always forget the first line of the kirtan, and it's silly. But you know, that we may be happy or sad in seva, but it's all good because it does away with my ignorance. Some kind of expression of detachment in seva. Actually, it doesn't matter what kind of result there might be. It's all good.
See. We have others here too who have been thinking about these topics. If they want to bring something up, I can actually see our Chinmoy Prabhu. He's a very wonderful one for being able to draw on the teachings of our gurus. He's constantly listening, no matter what his hands and legs are doing. He might be on the altar, or he might be in the garden with a wheelbarrow, but constantly listening, remembering and translating, which helps him recall these teachings of our gurus like anything. They just keep coming out of his mouth. So maybe he'll say something on this.
Yes, Dandavat Pranams, everyone. Any questions or comments? Anybody would like to ask something more, say something? Now's a good time, I think. Oh, there we got a hand raised. Jai.
Good.
Ask a question, please. And that's all. Just as I was listening now, see, something I worry about is like, so like my mood isn't pure, and so in doing the service, trying to do service, would you say that it still helps us, even though, I'm dirty and everything? It's like we should approach the service in a pure mood and a good mood. Even if the mood is off, is it still like, good? I mean, you can still. I mean, I find it like often just helps. I don't know. I get a lot out of trying to do service. I'm not really thinking I'm doing proper service. But yeah, I don't know, something about that really, because I know that the mood is off in the first place, even though I'm trying it not to be. Do you understand? Does it make sense?
You
Yeah.
do auto-therapist duty.
No, the answer is yes. Dylan. No, there's one time when somebody asked Srila Govinda Maharaj, how do we chant the holy name without offenses? What secret do you have? What clue can you give us? And, he mentioned that, it's not so difficult the first 9, but the 10th one is impossible. We're not going to do it. And, but he said sincerely and seriously, he said, but to know the truth, if you want everything in your spiritual life, you serve the spiritual master. You serve Guru and Vaishnava. And through that, you will get everything. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to practice Krishna conscious. So we're not actually practicing Krishna consciousness. We're trying to practice Krishna consciousness. And through that process of trying to practice Krishna consciousness, we are purifying ourselves in order to practice Krishna consciousness. So the process, like it says in the Upadeshamrita, that the holy name, we can't chant the holy name without offense. We're not capable of not committing some offense. Janardhan Maharaj always used to like the joke that Srila Prabhupada, when he was giving initiation, it was 16 rounds. You had to chant 16 rounds every day. And when he met Sridhar Maharaj, Sridhar Maharaj adjusted it to 4 rounds a day, at least 4 rounds a day. And Srila Janardhan Maharaj said, mercifully, Sridhar Maharaj has allowed us to chant only 4 rounds of Nam Aparad instead of 16 rounds of Nam Aparad. So, and in Upadeshamrita, the saying that at first the chanting of the holy name is bitter. And he gives an example of someone who has jaundice, and then the sweet, something sweet tastes bitter. But through the chanting of the holy name, your tongue will be purified, and what is sweet will taste sweet. So we cannot chant the holy name properly. So the solution is to chant the holy name. And through chanting of the holy name, we will be purified so as to be able to chant the holy name purely. And the same is true with seva. We are trying to do seva. We are offering with what little heart, what little percentage of heart that we can to the Lord, to the spiritual master. And through that service, we become purified. We receive some benefit. Not in the sense that, and not that we want this benefit. The benefit, I mean, it's complicated because we think that we don't want anything from the Lord, but something is going to come from the Lord. Krishna Prem is going to come from the Lord, but we don't want that. What we want to do is serve the Lord unconditionally with love and devotion, because the Lord is beautiful. The Lord is sweetness. The Lord is all charm. That is our ultimate desire. And so our ultimate goal is Jnana Shunya Bhakti. So Srila Maharaj gave this a very nice name. He called it ignorant devotion. This is very sweet. I think this is very sweet. Ignorant devotion. We're not concerned with this matter or that matter, this subject, that subject. Our only goal is to serve the Lord, to serve the spiritual master. This is purity. For most of my life, I was very pure in my mood. Very pure in my mood. Unfortunately, my mood was one of enjoyment. The mood of enjoyment. I was very pure. I wanted everything for myself. I wanted to enjoy everything. It's so easy. Yeah. But that's not the type of mood we want. We want this ignorant mood. We want this ignorant mood of devotion where our only thought, our only conception is serving the Lord, serving the Vaishnava. And at the present point, we're not capable of actually this purity. We're not actually capable of it, but we have faith. What we have faith in is what our spiritual masters are telling us. And they're saying, do this. Serve the Lord. Do seva. This will purify you. And we have to have faith in that. And what is that? When that purity comes, what effect will come from that purity? It'll be increase in the negative side. We are the negative aspect of divinity. And we want to attract the positive. And recently, I've been seeing these shlokas that are very difficult to digest only because they come from such high people. But there's one in particular that I like very much, Matulyo Nishta. And I think it's a shloka said by Rupa and Sanatan when they're going to meet Mahaprabhu and they have a piece of straw in their mouth. And they're saying, I am the greatest sinner. I have committed so many offenses. I am ashamed to ask for forgiveness from you, speaking to Mahaprabhu. And this I feel personally too is like, how can I ask for mercy? How can I ask to forget my sins or forget my offenses? Like, who am I to ask the Supreme Lord, oh, please forgive my offenses? Like, I don't even have the capacity to ask that yet. I'm not even at that level. So this type of mood is like trying to attract the negative or the positive. We want to try to attract the positive with our mood of necessity, of want, of desire. Is it the 6 limbs of surrender? I think the last one is, the last one is humility, right? 6 limbs of surrender.
Sometimes Atman Nivedana, sometimes.
Yeah, okay, so sometimes it switches Atman Nivedanam and sometimes humility. What? No?
Yes, I was, sorry, the microphone's off. I was talking. I was just saying, yes, in Srila Guru Maharaj's order in the Shishi Prapana Jivanamrita. Then the last one is humility, yes.
But another way that word is, because it's not danya, it's not actually danya, the word, which normally, typically means humility. It's a different word I can't think of right now. But another way it's translated is lowly and bereft. And this word bereft is very nice English word that explains very nicely the type of mood that the Vaishnavas have. And bereft, I wonder if the translators know that word, huh? Bereft means you're missing something, that you are lacking something essential in your life. And so this type of surrender, when you surrender to the Lord and you have this mood that you want to serve the Lord and you have that connection with the Supreme Lord, then there is this feeling of bereft, that I need the Lord. I need his mercy. I cannot live without his mercy. And so this is the type of mood that we want to develop. And so the purity of our service, this will come through hearing from the sadhus, from hearing the scriptures, and through our service. To continuously try in every moment of our life to serve the Lord in some way. Our thoughts should always be centered in that direction, in the service to the Vaishnavas and to Krishna. I believe the Srila Govinda Maharaj, he said one time that, like, you wake up in the morning, what am I going to do to serve the Lord, to serve the Vaishnavas? Our day-to-day lives should be focused on that. And so we're trying to do that, and with faith in the scriptures and what our spiritual masters are doing, we know that we are on the right path. And this faith is not a little thing. It's the centerpiece of our spiritual life. I mean, how many times have we heard in the Chaitanya Bhagavat and the Chaitanya Charitamrita, if you hear these pastimes, you will be liberated from this material world. If you hear this person's name, you will go to the Loka Vrindavan. How can I believe that? I mean, okay, I heard this pastime, but it's inconceivable that somebody at my level is ever going to go to that place. But there is that faith there. That is that faith. If we continue to serve Guru and Vaishnava, everything will be purified. Everything will go out from us, and these transcendental pastimes will be revealed into our heart. And just a final point, I'm listening now to Gurudev giving initiation to Prabhus, and the thing he stresses on both of them is that chant the holy name, chant without offense. Krishna will reveal in your heart, and everything else will go out. So this is our faith, this is our practice, and this is what we need to continue with, and just hold on and keep going forward with a mood of love and devotion. Jai.
Jai, indeed. And they've turned the camera on me, even though all the devotees are there. However, I'm happy to hear that this whole subject of the holy name came up, because the one excerpt that I had for today from Srila Gurudev's writing, or his actually speech, which came into writing, is also in Revealed Truth. And Srila Gurudev, he's saying about the holy name. But in this instance, he's saying, it is necessary to eagerly chant the Lord's holy name and always be hopeful. And I had this quote before all of you were talking about the holy name. So really, I was happy to hear, because our pure mood, I mean, if we have any pure mood, it must be that we will try to follow our Guru's direction, our Guru's instruction. And the theme of the holy name is throughout everything. The holy name, the holy name. What are we doing every morning and evening? Loudly, we're chanting the holy names. and we should try to know what we're chanting and chant happily. But Srila Guru is saying, it is necessary to eagerly chant the Lord's holy name and always be hopeful. We can always be hopeful because the Lord's holy name is always joyful and merciful, like Krishna himself. In this way, we can understand Mahaprabhu's teaching that if you want to chant the Lord's holy name purely and fully satisfy the Lord through your chanting, then you will have to chant the Lord's holy name constantly without making offenses. Krishna will be happy with us when we practice Krishna consciousness and chant his holy name without offense. If we have love for Krishna, then we must try to satisfy Krishna by practicing and chanting without offense. So it's a short excerpt, but again, just pushing home to us how we must try to always chant, always chant. And we have that beautiful composition of Srila Guru Maharaj, of Srila Gurudev, Harinama Mahamantra Sava Mantra Sa. Of all the mantras, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the best of all. And then listing verse 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the 10 offenses. And then the 11th offense, not offense, the 11th verse is saying, one who without exception abandons all these offenses, such wonderful things that will happen, that the Lord himself will come and sit in their heart. And very joyful results. So we mustn't cheat ourselves, another expression we've heard this week from Guru Maharaj. We mustn't cheat ourselves or cheat others. We must do everything sincerely and try as best we can to follow the principles, which really, our principle of devotional life, it is simple, not complicated. We don't have lots of complicated things to do. And really, it's almost just like being a grown-up human being is what our principles are in devotional life. We will be good, we do good for others. We'll follow the 4 principles. It's really just civilized life. And more about that, if you want a whole chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam has one chapter, there's one chapter there, instructions for the civilized human being. Kind of good idea to read some instructions for civilized human beings. But all of this, it's for this purpose that they want us to be joyful and happy. The key is in the holy name. The key is in the Guru and how we are to receive the holy name, how are we to chant the holy name. And actually, just now, Chinmoy Dev was saying, how can we believe that Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying, one who hears this narration with faith, then they must develop love of Krishna or love of Mahaprabhu. They must go to Goloka Vrindavan. Different chapters, different things Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying, which are most encouraging. But right in my ear, not really in my ear, but right in my heart, was the remembrance of Gurudev himself saying very similar things to the devotees and addressing the devotees. The faithful devotees who are with Gurudev, they've got faith. They have faith in him. They've got faith in the current which is coming from above. And as Gurudev always says, they've got faith in Guru Maharaj. And that anyone who's got any faith in Guru Maharaj and has rendered any service which is coming through Gurudev, what does Gurudev do with everything that he receives, whether it is like financial or honor or anything? He's offering that as service to Guru Maharaj. And so any service that's come to Guru Maharaj, then Gurudev knows that person, they are on the track. That now they're getting their carriage, their railway carriage onto the rails to go in the right direction. And the train that's going to take them, that powerful engine, is Srila Guru Maharaj. So really, we may hesitate sometimes, but in the glories of the holy name, we have which offenses it, quite right, the fifth offense, which says to think that the glories of the holy name are exaggeration. And so also, whatever has come from Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, we know from Srila Saraswati Thakur, from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, from Guru Maharaj, from Gurudev, it is spotless. And spotless to the extent that we heard about how Vishwanath Chakravarti, he was trying to understand some point that Krishnadas Kaviraj had given in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And he couldn't understand it. It was about the number of consonants or syllables in a particular mantra. And he knows that Krishnadas Kaviraj is giving spotlessly everything, but he cannot catch this. And yet this was great point of grammar. And he was a grammarian, whatever the word is, fully expert. But he knows what Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying. And he's even thinking, which also seems unbelievable for us, that he's thinking I will leave my body if I can't understand this. And then he got a revelation in a dream of the explanation. Yes, Krishnadas Kaviraj, he said this is the answer. But when he sincerely needed, when different nature than us, but when he sincerely needed an answer and was even thinking to give up his life if he cannot comprehend the statement of Krishnadas Kaviraj, at that eager, intense moment, then revealed to him came the answer from above. And by the way, that intensity also comes with this idea of purity. When we are intense for something, then our attention there is very pure. And so if we can have real intensity, then that will be also real purity. And the intensity when the very much needed hankering is like coming to its zenith, then Krishna is revealing, he's giving some way out, some relief, etc. Discussing recently, because it was in our readings, about Veda Vyas giving Srimad Bhagavatam. But Veda Vyas was in a serious dilemma. Extremely brilliant, extraordinarily everything. And one form of incarnation, the literary writing incarnation of the Lord himself. But he was showing in his Leela like extreme dissatisfaction that he'd completed the savor of compiling the Veda, but no, something's missing, and he was in that desperate position. He couldn't understand what it was that was missing at that intense time. He wasn't just sitting back in his armchair thinking, well, I did the best I could, but I don't really feel so great. But he was intensely focused on the service that he was given to do and was doing. And then at that intense time, Narada Muni came to him to give the relief, to give the missing point. And this is how the seed, the foundation of Srimad Bhagavatam came, from that intense hankering. So the purity also of doing our service, the intensity to do the activities that are for Gurudev. And Gurudev his life was only doing seva for Guru Maharaj, with full intensity, sleepless for night after night after night when many things are happening. And so we've got our example. We have these examples being right here, showing everything to us, telling us in book after book, lecture after lecture, talk after talk, day after day, whether it's recorded or not. He's speaking Veda day after day with the devotees in the daily life. And now we all have to stand on our feet in the sense of not be, say, yes, now I've got it and everything, but in the sense of putting into practice what they've been a little bit hammering into the devotees for year after year. And it is simple, as we were saying. It's simple in theory, in what we have to do. But our difficulty is, we've got Kali Yuga brains, Kali Yuga environment, Kali Yuga everything influence. When you're in the ocean of salt and swimming, you're getting a lot of salt all over you. So we've got that ocean of fault in Kali Yuga, which is around us. But we mustn't give up. We mustn't go any other way except service to Guru. And Gurudev showed that. Guru Maharaj showed that to Srila Saraswati Thakur and was so strong on that point of keeping that purity, maintaining what Srila Saraswati Thakur gave. Gurudev, very strong on this point of what Srila Gurudev gave, and very much wanting that Guru Maharaj gave will be practiced in all of the temples and ashrams around the world. So it's not, we have very difficult things to do, but we must try to do our service life. And from that connection, the protection will come from above. And the positive will automatically push out the negative. Again, that point. Such a beautiful life of devotion. Believe it, it is true. Believe it, it is true. Today at the airport, I was looking at the places, we go past gate 1, 2, 3, 4, A1, A2, then B1, B2, all these things. And looking on the board to see, where are these people going? Oh, they're going to Malta, they're going to Madrid, they're going to London, they're going to like different places. And it's not that everyone's been to all of those places, but they're getting on a plane to go to a particular aeroplane going to their destination. So we must get on the aeroplane. We have got on the aeroplane, but the trouble is we think we have a parachute and we can jump off the plane every now and again. We've got the plane to go to Goloka Vrindavan. That's the opportunity we've been given, and we mustn't jump out of the window. Hare Krishna. What's the time? I don't know the time. Oh, time is good. Time is good. Yes, Chinmoy Dev Prabhu.
I think there's a question in the chat.
Is there? I'm sure.
Oh.
Question in the chat. What if I don't? So this is Shama Priya Devirasi. Hare Krishna. What if I don't feel eager to serve? Okay, how can I cultivate the desire to serve and don't get lost in mundane things? The first answer I feel Srila Gurudev would give, and he would give very often, maybe on other times he'd say something else first, will be good association. Stay in good association. This is the most helpful thing for us. Stay with association. We don't have to think, are they higher than me, lower than me? Are they faithful? Okay, they're on the same goal. They've got the same faith along the way. And we're not looking higher or lower. We want to be with the family that are rowing the boat in the right direction. And we'll help row that boat in the right direction too. Yes, Guru Maharaj gave the example that on a long journey, then the beginning we are very eager, at the end when we're almost reaching the goal, when it's like more or less in sight, then we're very eager, we're going to get there. But the middle part is when we need, especially in the middle part, is when we need good association. They are on the journey, we are on the journey. They face the wind and the rain and the cold and the obstacles when you're going somewhere. We are facing those same wind, rain, cold, and obstacles, but with each other, we keep up each other's spirits up. And so, I mean, here we are, we're here together, so many devotees. We're here together and happily for this very thing to keep reminding ourselves the purity of the mood of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada, our whole parampara. That purity of the mood is for sharing with everybody, and they want to share that with everyone. Look at practically, you can say, we could see any recording of Guru Maharaj, any recording of Gurudev, any recording of Srila Prabhupada. They're all wonderful. And if we only had one recording, even, that can be sufficient to make our journey of life, really fixed. When sometimes if we get lots of different information about the technical side of the journey, then we may get a little bit lost in the technical side. How was the bridge made, the crosses, the gorge, the way you've got to get to the other side. Well, we don't have to know too much. We just know if we're on the journey, we're crossing the bridge. We don't necessarily have to go to university, study civil engineering, and then, build the bridge. It's already there for us. And so we simply want to follow the journey with good association and sing. Even in maybe the army, I don't know, but I was in the Boy Scouts a long time ago. And they do still exist. Like we saw them on the train one day, like a whole group of Boy Scouts going somewhere with their backpacks. We thought, oh yeah, kind of takes us back to our Boy Scout days. But Boy Scouts, they are trekking in the hills, and they are singing as they go along. I remember some of the songs. I won't repeat them here. But we are singing the Lord's name. So again, good association, the Lord's holy name, and really get to know automatically the Upadeshamrita. I'm not selling tickets for the Upadeshamrita course. I was thinking today, by the way, because we're making some preparation. I've been asked to say day by day about one verse of Upadeshamrita. And I thought also today, how is it that people seem to say that, Upadeshamrita, that's your favorite, or that's your, you should be talking about that. Upadeshamrita is for everybody. It's everybody's, not only basis, it's the whole journey for us all. And so all these subjects, about keeping up our enthusiasm, etc. If we actually follow Rupa Goswami's advice, and Rupa Goswami is, I saw today, because I was reading different things, he's described as, I forget the Sanskrit, I'm not really good at that, but Dhira, like Mahadhira, extremely deep and serious. And this is, his advice for us. It's his advice for everybody. And this will be helpful to keep our spirits up on the journey and to keep our mood pure. And again, we can say what we referred to before. We heard Guru Maharaj this week saying about how we must not cheat ourselves. We must be serious, but serious, not with a hard heart. The seriousness of our path is making our heart soft, in fact. It's making our heart fit to be with other soft hearts who are in love with Krishna. So this is our aim. Okay, now I know the time. I don't know if this clock is right or not. Anywhere we go, we never know if the clocks tell the right time, but I can guess it's probably a little over the time. But it's a happy topic. All Krishna Katha is a happy topic, though sometimes we have to admit we are we find a very sad part in Chaitanya Charitamrita. But we have to see the sad parts to know that everything has got, like, there's some sadness and happiness. We appreciate the sun when it comes out, after it's been raining for a long time. And before leaving from Vila Govind today, we actually said, should we take a photograph of the sun and show them in London? Hare Krishna. So when it's been raining, then the sun comes, it's very sweet. And of course, for the gardeners, when it's been sunny for a long time, when the rain comes, it's very sweet. So you see, everything has its nourishing aspect. So Srila Gurudev, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Krishnadas Kagara, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Rupa Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti you're mentioning. I mean, they're all coming to nourish us. Hare Krishna. Okay, I better be quiet now. But here we're in the London mat with the beautiful deities, and maybe you saw just before. And here on this, like this one, the deities, Shri Guru, Gauranga Sundar, and Giriraj Radha. Giridhari, Radha Giridhari. Hare Krishna. Yeah, I can't unmute my phone. Somebody's put a request. If I do, there'll be a very strange sound because I'm on the tablet. Right, so dear ones, I know Munindra Mohan Prabhu, he's the cameraman in Vila Govinda. I think I saw the side of his face earlier. So quoting Munindra Mohan Prabhu, always remembered, dear ones, we better continue, and perhaps we'll give the opportunity for Vila Govinda to chant Hare Krishna. Yes, because I don't know if we can change our settings. This is running on a tablet and the phone. I'm not quite sure how to turn the musician's audio on. So maybe in London they can finish with Hari Haraya Nama Krishna, but we'll give jais now because some of you may be continuing. And this way we say Jai Saparika Shishi Guru Gauranga Sunda Radha Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Saparika Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Gopinath. I haven't forgotten the Vinodian. Guru Gandharvika Gopinath and Shri Giriraj Balagopal Ju Ki Jai. Navadeep Saparika Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandhava Govinda Sundar Ju Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mahato Srila Gurudev and Srila Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. And that's not just a building, that is the heart of the devotee, the heart of Gurudev, the heart of Guru Maharaj. That's the heart of you all who are in Chaitanya, that's Chaitanya Saraswat Mahato Gurudev and Guru Maharaj. And to all of the Dambasis, those who are living under that shelter of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj, Ki Jai, all those assembled devotees Ki Jai, Anantapati Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Namacharya Pila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, and Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So over. Yes, so please, you adjust your microphone in Vila Govinda and you can sing Hari Haraya Nama Krishna for us all.
Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhusudan Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. And here are our, I can show you the devotees on the other one, right? Oh, no, here are the devotees. Sing!
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopal Govinda Shri Madhusudan.
Gopal Govinda Shri Madhusudan.
Girirari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Gadadhara Shiva Gadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda Gadadhara Shiva Gadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatana Bhakta Raguna Jai Rupa Sanatana Bhakta Raguna Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasaraguna Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasaraguna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Jai, tutti i devoti chi? Jai! Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai! Jai! Jai Guru Premanande!